What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Nice Guys Podcast. Unfortunately, today the gang is not here. All of us are not here today. Duper is getting back from spring break, and he got moved back in today. He got all his stuff back up there again, and so he said he texted me earlier and said, I just got too much stuff going on. I ain't gonna be able to do it tonight, unfortunately, and I'll come back as normal next week. But nonetheless, we're super excited. As you guys can see, we got a special guest for this episode. We haven't had one in a couple episodes, so we're really excited. D Money and I, the tag team duo, are going to try to hold down the fort tonight in Duper's absence. But nonetheless, D Money has the privilege of knowing this gentleman a little bit longer than I have. But I'm going to pass the buck over to you, D Money. I'm going to let you introduce him to the people.
All right, man. Yeah, I'm real excited about this guy. I've known him literally Pee Wee football. I was probably 7, 8 years old. Yeah, man, he was in high school at the time. That was when Stu went back to back.
Right.
Good years, right, Jeremy?
Great years. It
Hell
was a
yeah.
blast. I wish I could
Hell
get
yeah.
back to those times, paying their bills or anything to worry about.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So we're real excited about this one. I think it's our second official guest.
Second official guest.
Yeah. So
Yep.
yeah, we're excited to bullshit with you, man. I'm glad you got to come on with us.
Me too. I appreciate being on here. Getting to know my man down here, Ty. But also having the privilege of being on this with you guys and helping you build up and whatever it is that you need, bullshit whatever it is that you want to bullshit about. Ask whatever you want. I've done and seen a lot in life, so I got some experience under my belt here.
Hell yeah.
I got some miles.
Right. But yeah, so I know Ty's got a couple questions he wants to ask, and I know I could probably feed off of questions pretty well. And like you said, we're gonna ask you pretty much anything that comes to mind. We're not organized at all, like Tyler was telling you a little bit ago.
What do we say, D Money? What's the beauty of it?
So unorganized that we're organized.
That's right, man. That's right.
Yeah.
So like we don't take no time to like write shit down before we start. We just kind of go into it and just let it ride.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Organic is the best.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing. We don't want to come in and have everything written down and this is we want it to just be free flowing and kind of just go. We're beat off of each other essentially.
Exactly.
So
Listen, you don't want to end up like the NFL and having stuff come out on Twitter, saying everything's scripted.
right. Exactly.
Hell
You
yeah.
guys are operating.
Right. Especially speaking of that, do you think that shit's real?
I think everybody's got their hand in the pot somewhere.
It's all Vegas,
Somewhere
bro.
along the line.
I think it's all has to do with Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Vegas runs a lot, and Vegas wasn't built off of losers. I mean, I've heard that 100 times from
Hell
people, and it's like, well, when you go out there and you're standing looking at them things, and them hotels and casinos and whatnot, it's like, all right, I'm starting to get it now. Like,
Right.
these motherfuckers got something underneath there. Am I allowed to?
Yes, you're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
okay.
come on, bro. Yeah, let it ride.
They got something going on out here that they got money longer than anybody.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I've actually never been out there, so I've seen, you see all the movies, you see how, I mean, you can't fake the way that shit looks, so, but.
Right.
Exactly.
But.
Nah, man. So I'm just gonna jump right into it with you, man. I know this is a generic question. I've got more specific questions I want to ask you, man. But man, let's just talk about it real quick. You grew up in Neville, lived there. You still currently live in Neville. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
So born and bred in Neville, man. Product of the OV. So. Let's just talk about if you're comfortable sharing it all, man. Just talk about your childhood growing up, things of that nature, what the OV was like back then to what it's like now, and just kind of where you're at in your career path and things of that nature, man. I just want to hear the story.
I got you. Okay. I'm not gonna stretch it out forever, but yeah, I grew up in the Ohio Valley. I'm 35 years old. Graduated from Steubenville City Schools, Steubenville High School in 2006. Had the opportunity to, go on to college at Mount Union for a year and then transferred to West Lib. Very fortunate to be a part of championship teams at all three of those places: Steubenville High School, Mount Union, and as well as West Lib. I played with a hell of a squad at West Lib in 2009. It was something special to see, out of the Wheeling area, out of West Virginia for Division II that year. Not saying that we went and won national championship or anything like that. We just a conference championship, but we made it to the elite eight that year. We ended up running into Cal PA, who they had some gangsters on their squad. I mean, they had I think one corner was for sure going to the NFL that year after the season was over. They had a couple great athletes and people that played in the NFL run through that program. Mount Union, that was my freshman year. That was fun. We'll work backwards here. Mount Union was a blast. I went there. My first semester, I got a 1.1 GPA. I didn't go to class. I didn't do one lick of any class. I might have showed up for midterms and finals. That's about it. And test dates, because you get those the syllabus. So, but that was my first semester. My second semester, I worked my way out of a hole. I had a 2.5 that semester, so it raised that 1.1 up to a 1.6, 1.8, 1.7 area. I was eligible to play football. Didn't end up going back there. Came home with the EGCC for a year. Yeah, went there for a year because I was transferring to West. I already knew what I was doing. I was transferring to West Lib, so what they wanted me to do was just treat EGCC like a junior college. Ended up having to pass 24 credit hours, 12 a semester to be eligible to play. Went through all that, even took a summer class. Well, I come to find out there was one of those classes they didn't even transfer in and qualify, so I was actually ineligible my first year at West Lib. But still went to practices, still did everything I was supposed to do. Went to the weight room, went to meetings, film. I was there on games. The only thing I didn't do was travel. So I helped coach at Steubenville High School during those times. So that following year, 2009 was the big year for the squad. We had a lot of good JUCO transfers in. Run it back to the year before, ended up playing with Brandon Orr. You guys ever look him up? He transferred in from Virginia Tech. He was a dog back in the day. I think he had over a stack 1 year at GT in a stack rushing. The dude was just the most elusive running back I've ever witnessed with my own eyes, on the same level as practiced against and watched him play in the game. That dude was something real. So that year we were I believe we went 11-2, lost in the Elite Eight round to Cal PA that year. And then straight up next year I was getting ready for spring football. After that big game, they ended up pulling random drug tests on everybody. I got popped, so ended up having to cut my football career short in that time, which is okay. You live and you learn. Right. I made mistakes, and it's cool. Yep. I'm good now. So I chose education and then kind of transferred my education stuff into exercise physiology. I graduated with a Bachelor's of Science from West Liberty with Bachelor's of Science with a concentration in exercise physiology. I learned now. I call it a degree to go to school to get another degree. You know what I mean? Right. It's an undergrad degree, but it's not one of those get up off your feet and be able to make the money to pay your bills type of degree. It sets you up for you can go be podiatry school, you can go occupational therapy, you can go physical therapy school. I think there's some other things you can do with it, cardiac rehab specialist, things like that. But I lived and I learned in that aspect. When it comes down to it, for me, if I had to go back right now, it was a shit decision to end up going to college. I wasn't a college material person. I partied my ass off, hung on by a thread. I learned a lot of shit and saw a lot of shit and done a lot of shit in college, and
Yeah.
it was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I'm
I
not a
think
big
everybody
college
should
guy either, too.
experience yeah. Everybody
Yeah.
should experience some sort of it, some way.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's partying, it's partying. You know what I mean? If that's your cup of tea, that's what's up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. See, I kind of had the same. I went. I think officially I've dropped out of college 4 times. I
I mean, I transferred before, so it's cool.
yeah.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
it's all good.
it just happened to where, I went to school right out of high school, went to Gateway, just like, got those 2 free years. I mean, why wouldn't you, especially like if I wasn't going to play sports anywhere,
Hmm.
had
I
no
wish I'd
kind
have
of,
done that.
yeah, I wish I would have stayed, to be honest with you. But I mean, my wife always tells me everything happens for a reason.
Right.
So she's kind of beat that down my head. So I kind of run with it now. So that's
Good.
pretty much
Good
what
for
I live
you.
by now. So I got no complaints with where I'm at. But yeah, officially, I think I've dropped out, I think 4 times. I did go to West Liv for a semester, and I hated every second of it. I hated it. I'm not gonna lie to you, I could not stand it. But it wasn't even it wasn't even like the classes. I just felt like I was still too close to home.
Hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but like the classes I was doing fine. I was passing every one of my classes. I just it was nah.
Did you stay up there, or
I
did
stayed
you
there,
commute?
yeah.
Did you? Yeah, I mean, I went to Wheeling a lot, so it was. I mean, I guess Wheeling, we would run down to WVU, we would run down to Waynesburg. All those were pretty close if you got somebody that knows some back roads, how to get around Washington Pike and all that bullshit, not by
Right,
driving the highway.
right.
So we did that. I remember one year, me and my homie from back home from Steubenville, when I was staying up there, my roommate was on the baseball team. So one year they went to Georgia for spring break, and me and my buddy back home, Lee Bainbridge, we hopped in my 2002 Dodge Dakota
Hell
single cab
yeah.
single cab with a 6 foot bed loaded with, I think we had about 15 cases of Bud Light. We had 3 handles of Captain Morgan, and we stayed in a condo with my roommate's dad. Listen, they went to Tybee Island, it was called, right? And Tybee Island was like, it was not dry. I mean, they sold grain alcohol on the boardwalk
Hmm.
in slushies, mind you. Grain alcohol on the boardwalk in slushies. Worse, I mean, at one point, I was trying to talk Lee into jumping off the pier. And then come to find out, I'm glad he didn't jump because it was only like 4 feet.
No
Oh
shit.
damn.
Where that pier was at, it looked a lot deeper from where you were standing, but that could
Right,
have also been alcohol.
right. Probably the alcohol
And
talking to you.
we were down there in the spring, and somebody was like, "Yeah, you don't want to do that. That water is real cold right now, and it's real shallow."
He jumps in there, breaks both of his legs.
Yeah, for real.
Jesus
Those
Christ.
are the days. I'd have felt terrible.
Right,
Instant sober, probably.
right. But yeah. So I guess I want to ask you, what was it like those 2 high school years winning it back to back? That's one of the biggest questions I want to ask you because obviously I wasn't a part of that, but I know, dude.
If you're
I
from
was
the Ville, you know about it.
yeah. I think, dude. I think. Would you guys want 05, 06?
Oh, yeah, oh 05. I was oh 05, and then I graduated in oh 06. Colaris was oh 05, oh 06. That would have been
Monster.
like Colaris, Mikey Carlantonio, Danny Vogel, Maurice Bogard. They were
Okay.
all juniors when I was seniors, but we were all tight like that. So
Right.
we all hung out together. That was the biggest thing. I mean, our motto back then was a team that drinks together stays together.
Right.
It's weird. It doesn't mean that we drank all the time. Yeah, after a game on a Friday, yeah, we would get buzzed up and have a blast. And there were sometimes we just didn't do it at all. But the the one thing that I say sets those teams apart from a lot of others is, um, you know, I messed with old coaches and be like, we only gave up 7 points. We gave up the least amount of points of any state championship team. My senior year squad. Our defense was sick. I mean, I think we had, between Ralph Petrella in the middle Angelo Magnone in the middle, and Demetrius Benjamin. Those three were like three all-staters. Like that's your
Jeez.
nose, that's your tackle, and that's your Mike linebacker.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't running the ball anywhere. I didn't have to. I didn't. There was time I probably didn't have to do anything because I was on my way to make a tackle, and then here comes Ange drilling somebody because nobody in the state of Ohio could block that kid. The responsibility that we all held each other for, the playing for each other, that was one big thing. We were a tight. We still are. I mean, we're still a tight group, and we're still all rowdy at times. We still all got our attitudes because we're getting these group chats and we get people fired up. I mean, election time was completely miserable with some of them guys. Well, actually, just one of those guys. But and then other things in life that you see now as you get older, and it gets people fired up. Political stuff or
Oh
whatever's going
yeah.
on in media.
Oh yeah.
You can
Yeah.
honestly, Andrew's one of them dudes to get anybody to bite. Another thing that we all did is it was making sure that everybody was on the same page. Like our communication level on our defense and offensive side of the ball, like between me and Zach at running back, or Zach and the wideouts, or Zach in the center, and Zach and all the linemen. Like lineman communication. Like if you could be in the helmet on a cam in the middle of a game to witness what Big Red football is really about, you wouldn't be able to understand what's going on the opposing side of the ball because of all the communication going on pre-snap and right at the snap. Everything from our calls down to our cadence, down to when we snap the ball and where we're going. There's talking going on. We all held each other to a higher standard and made sure that was one of the biggest things that we understood as athletes is that, the communication is key.
Right.
If you don't have good communication, you're not going to have good execution.
Communication's key in a lot of things in life too.
And I don't think a lot of people get that.
A lot of people don't get that, and I will admit at one point I was one of them people. I kept everything balled up, and I didn't like to let anything out. And then eventually you kept poking me, and I blew up. And I hated that about myself. Exactly.
Yeah.
We talked about
like
that. We talked about that last episode of how we matured and shit. So,
Right.
it's definitely something that
being
that's
able to
one
be
thing.
self-aware.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. That was good. I like that, Ty.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. I got a question for you. So I got a couple football questions I want to ask you, but and this might be a basic question, but man, what got you into football, man? Is that just something that you wanted to do as a kid, and you thought I think you're a very athletic guy. I think you love sports, but what put football in front of all those other sports for you?
100%. Football in my life came down like this. I was sitting at home one day. My dad is like, "Oh, I signed you up for football."
Okay.
I was like, "Okay, when's it start?" He was like, "All right, it starts in July." He tells me this like back in April, so I forget about it a little bit, right? Going through summer, my birthday's in June and whatnot. But when it came to the first practice and everything, and then when we got pads on, I fell in love with it, and it was a done deal from there. And I started where D started at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mingo Chiefs. We were down in the old Mingo Stadium when I first started. Like it was me. My first squad was me, Matt Bellardine, Ricky Bell, Matt DiStefano. I think Demetrius Benjamin. They come down when I was in varsity. When I made it up to varsity, Leo Kugler. Brandon Canestraro, Matt Canestraro, when there was actual like a Mingo team, not what I mean, like not a. They could have made a Wintersville team at the same time back then,
Right.
right? So but that was a lot of Mingo kids. And that's how it started for me. And,
see,
and I fell in love with it ever since.
Yeah, that's. I don't even think I I think my mom and dad did the same shit. I think they just kind of said, "Hey, you're gonna go play at Mingo Chiefs." I'm like, "Okay."
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's what I mean. I met a lot of people down there, man.
Oh
Like
yeah.
especially, dude. You did you coach? I think you just start. I think you started with my JV year when we went undefeated. Was that the
Yeah.
first year? Yeah. So that team was stacked. You had Barbetta at
Uh,
quarterback, who was just
Yeah, Barbetta.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
You had Cody Billick, who loves Sea Bills. That's my guy.
the
He
kid
was,
can
dude.
run
He
the
was
ball.
probably the best running back in the area. Like he was ridiculous,
Yes.
ridiculous. Like no one could
Yeah.
stop him. And I still remember the fucking game we were at. I think John Marshall, and he busted one off and was running down the sideline for his like fourth touchdown, and he tripped.
Damn.
He tripped
Yeah.
and didn't get the score.
And
It's funny as hell.
that's the funniest thing about that entire age. Like, it happens all the time. Like, I remember going for like my longest touchdown ever back in Mingo Chiefs days, right? And I tripped right at the five.
Oh man.
You trip that in that age, you're down. Like, it don't, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? You're down.
it's
You're
like
done.
college rules. You touched around, you're down.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, yeah. But
We had Zach Harrington on that squad. I mean,
there was
Mays was there.
who was
We
that?
had a
Trent Mays.
squad.
Yeah.
Mays.
Yeah.
He was
Oh yeah,
fun.
dude. So
He was on my squad when I
Was
played.
he on your squad?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had Lucas too. Harrington.
Okay, then you had Lucas and Trent then. Okay, I
Yeah.
thought Trent was closer to your age or D's age. My bad.
Yeah.
he's
But yeah, we had Zach Harrington, right?
yeah.
We had Zach.
We had a bunch of good people on our team. Like our team was good.
Barbetta
I
was
remember
fast as shit.
what's that?
Barbetta was fast as shit.
Oh,
You
fast
played
as
tight
hell.
end.
Dude, I remember. So I remember this is one thing that I wanted to bring up when we started talking about this. Because this is something I wanted to talk about, like Mingo Chiefs and shit. Do you remember when I told you I wanted to play quarterback, and you convinced them to make me the quarterback? I didn't play, obviously. Barbetta was the guy, but
Right.
I told you I wanted to be the quarterback, and you were like, "All right, well, let's make that happen." And you convinced them to like let me take snaps for like when first team defense was playing, when Barbetta was on the defensive side. Like I was the dummy quarterback. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I listen. My biggest thing is you always you have to be ready for anything to happen at any time. I learned that in coaching.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I coached under the winningest the winningest guy in the state of Ohio.
Right.
You have to be ready for anything. So it doesn't matter. Like when you said we needed a backup, right? We knew we needed a backup no matter what. We didn't have anybody else. So when you said that, I was like, all right, I'll make that happen no matter what. When you got all those snaps, you were going against the first team. So like you were getting ready and being prepared by not. I mean, at that age, you didn't know what the fuck you were doing. You were just having fun.
Right. Exactly.
But at the same time, in my eyes, I'm like, all right, he's getting ready. He'll be prepared if something happens. He can take a snap. He
Which
can
never
hand the
happened,
ball
but-
off. No. I mean,
Right.
you also started at tight end, so
Yeah. And D end, defensive end, tight end.
That's what I played too. I played D end and I played on the line. I think I played left
you
tackle.
were a guard, weren't you?
I guard or
wanna say you
tackle.
were-
Guard or tackle. One of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that shit was so fun, man. I remember just going, and that year, dude, that was so fun. That undefeated year.
Oh, I listen. It was amazing because at the same time I was in high school and my defensive line coached for the Fallsby Blue Waves. Like you guys
Nice
don't even
shit.
know that one. Yeah, Rick Camilletti was my defensive line coach. So like I would go to practice anytime we played them on a Sunday. I would go to practice that next Monday and bust his balls the entire day.
That's funny.
Until I got into the weight room, I'd shut up because he was also our weightlifting coach, and he would trash me. I mean, those were some of the most brutal workouts I've ever had in my entire life after whooping his ass on a
That's
Sunday
funny.
with Pee Wee football.
I think my second year in Bantam, I think we played Fallsby for the championship, and we ended up beating them by 6. They had with like I still remember it, but it was like 12 seconds left, and they threw like a little pitch out to the right, and dude took off, and me and Andrew Dunn tackled the dude, and
Yeah.
they ended up losing the game. So that was dope though.
Donnie, wow. Okay, so you were on what was it? Nico Otto. Nico Otto was the running
Yeah.
back on your squad.
Yep.
I did have you guys.
Yep.
I did have you guys.
Yep.
Okay.
Another thing
Wow.
about Fallsby. So we played them in the championship, or my JV year too. We won at Fallsby behind the
Yeah,
Blue Wave
Behind
Center.
the
that's
old
where we
school.
that's where we won at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I remember you made fun of me because when we played them at home, I got an interception because you had me play free safety. Me and Woody were the fucking safeties. And you told me, you said, I don't want you anywhere near the fucking ball. You pushed me like 25 yards back off the ball, and I just happened to come up and I picked the ball off, and I like kept juking back and forth. I don't know if you remember that.
You wouldn't go down. You wouldn't go down. We had the game won.
Oh shit, that
I
shit was
loved
funny
it.
as hell.
I mean, I got coached like that, and I ended up coaching you guys almost the same way, and you guys responded like little warriors,
Right.
little solid dogs. You want to come say hi? This is my little dude.
What's up, little man?
This is
What's up,
Lennon.
buddy?
They're saying hi. You want to say hi? It's bedtime. You want to flex on them? You want to show them a six pack? Come on,
Give us a
dude.
quick
You're
flex, man.
shredded. Show them how shredded you are.
I believe it. You don't even got to show
Oh,
me, little man. I know you are.
You gotta stand up and turn around. Yeah. All right. Get out of here, punk. Good night. I love you.
How old is he now?
He's 6.
Wow.
Just turned 6 in January.
Sweet.
He's
January what?
18. January 20th.
20th. I'm the 12th. That's why I asked.
Oh, okay. All
I'm
right. I
close.
like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, you guys got those double-edged swords birthday, Christmas birthday shit.
Yeah.
Man.
Which sucks. It's cool,
It
but at the same
sucks.
time, it sucks.
I would say, like, it's cool. He's an only child, so he's gonna get like the best of both worlds for 25 days, from the 25 days of Christmas and then 25 days right after Christmas.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He gets back to back.
Right. It's cool though. It's cool because it's like, oh, I get essentially 2 Christmases, but at the same time, it's like, damn, I gotta wait until Christmas again before I get anything else. You know what I
Before
mean?
you get shit. Yeah,
Right.
that's a long
Right.
one.
It's pretty much like, yeah, you got 2 in a row, dude. Yeah, you're good. But
So, I got another question for you, my man, in regards to
Okay.
football. So, how was it like for you being so young and having that mindset of the winning mindset when you were playing, and then having to kind of keep that same mindset but do it in a different fashion with coaching? Like, did you find it wasn't like a hard transition for you?
No, I'll be honest. I think the hardest transition, the winning mindset and being on winning teams was the biggest negative that I've ever had to run into in my football life. Um, I think the winning mindset helped me more in off season preparation, but I had to really learn hard in college that your talent pool level is raising. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you ain't the big dog in a small fenced in area anymore. Okay, you went to a dog park. There's a lot of dogs there
right.
wanting the same thing and have the same attitude and mindset that you do, that maybe you can't see or you can't read yet.
Right.
Gotcha.
Especially being a young athlete. Like, not saying that I didn't put in the effort. I think I could have done a little bit more better mentally. I could have, sometimes I like to think I could have pushed myself a little bit harder and faster. What are you doing? I could have, I could have pushed myself better in the classroom, that probably could have transferred into the field.
Right. I get what you're
Gotcha.
A
saying.
lot of people
Yeah.
say, a lot of people say it's the other way around in that aspect. Like, you know, things you learn on the field, you can transfer into the classroom. Well, I could have put more effort into the classroom to transfer to the field.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I got what you're saying. Yeah. I think I could probably do it the other way. I wasn't bad in the classroom, but I did no time like putting in the work, like in the off season. I didn't lift. I didn't work out. I couldn't get into it. And I know you're a big workout guy, so you probably want to jump through the screen and just knowing me. But
Well, I think like when it comes down to that, I'm a big workout guy only for the fact that when I started lifting when I was 12,
right,
you know, but I didn't start. My dad didn't start me or like anything like that. Like I started lifting with my homies that I played football with. Like to be honest with you, we were 12 years old, sixth grade. We were going to what we call lift club, right, with Joe Sack and a couple other coaches. And literally, they was just them working out after school, and them asking us if we wanted to work out with them after school, and
right.
that's what we did. And it was a blast. I mean, they made it fun, but they started to actually like transform our heads and our bodies, mentally and physically,
Yeah.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they started to help us in that weird stage of life.
That is
Middle
a
school
weird
is one of the
stage.
weirdest stages you ever. I mean,
Oh yeah.
middle school is gonna be one of the weirdest stages you ever go
Oh,
through
for
in life.
Oh
sure.
yeah, yeah.
It was so
But
weird, man.
yeah, like I mean, in the things that they did for us during that time, like
Check this out. We got the sneak peek to WrestleMania right there.
Yeah, WrestleMania starts in 15 minutes. Started 15 minutes earlier.
they built our confidence up physically and mentally. Mentally because another thing that we had to do like what was we had to do an eligibility sheet weekly. If you were an athlete, you had to do a weekly eligibility sheet. You had to take a sheet to your teacher on I think it was Wednesdays or Thursdays, maybe Tuesdays. You had to take a sheet to your teacher, and you had to get your grade written down. And that teacher had to sign right behind it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was literally class to class. And there was times where if you took an F there, you weren't going to lift or run or do agility or do footwork or do shit like that. You were actually sitting down with that subject and you were doing some homework. But then again, that only lasted for like 10 minutes maybe, and then you started working out.
Gotcha.
Right.
But it's also an embarrassment when you have to take and show a shitty grade to your coach.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people don't give a shit these days. I don't. I grew up in an era where like when I had to take a bad grade to my coach, there was times like, hey, can you sign this? So I just don't have to take it to my parents to sign it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I would rather them signed it than have to even take it home to my parents and then turn around and bring that shit back. Like that's like taking a fucking test home to get it signed by your
Oh yeah.
parents. No, I
The
don't want to do
worst.
that. I fucking poured so many of my parents' signatures.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's too, because it was 3 letters, J-A-Y. You can't fuck that up.
You
Right.
can.
Right. Listen, I hid a bad grade from my mom and dad once when uh we were actually going to the beach, and we happened to use my book bag for one of the bags we took, and I stashed it in the very front pocket. It's like when you get the book bag, you have open it up, you got the big spot, and then you have like the little spot that opens up in the front that's like real thin, and you can just kind of slide something there. Well, I hid it in there, and it was a math test. I think it was in like first or second grade or something, and I remember my mom pulled it out while we were in the car on the way to the beach, and she was just like, "What is this?" So I got reamed for hiding it from them, but
I don't know
whatever.
how
I
that got
was
in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the dog put it in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that's just something fake. I don't know. That's what
yeah.
I would do. I fucking played it off all the time because I got caught like that a couple times too.
Right, yeah. I think everybody did. I think everybody's
Oh
done
yeah.
something to hide tests from their parents and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
So, but you're right,
All
dude.
right, my turn here. My turn here.
Okay,
Ty,
go ahead.
what are you doing? Where you at? What are you doing?
As far as like work goes, brother.
Life, work, anything. School?
So
You in school?
no, man. So I'm 27. I grew up in the Ville as well. Lived there till I was 21, and I met my now wife back then, obviously girlfriend, but met her in at West Lib. So I didn't go to West Lib, but we met through mutual friends that connected the two of us, and she told me straight up. She was like, my plans after West Lib is to go to grad school because she's an ear doctor. So she was like, I'm going to go somewhere, and it might not be anywhere close to here. And so you can either come with me and we can make it work, or we can make it work long distance. That's your call. And so I found myself at 21 with no college experience. I went to EGCC, so I didn't really have that getaway, have that independence. Obviously EGCC is right in hometown. So anyway, we moved to Indiana. She went to Ball State for 4 years for grad school. So we lived in Indiana for 4 years. So that was a big adjustment for me, moving like 4.5 hours away, not having any family out there. And so it made me grow up a lot quicker than I realized. And so we live in the Dub V now, live in a small town called Petersburg, right on the Eastern Panhandle. And so I work for an organization that we do alcohol enforcement, man. As fun killing as that sounds, it's not anything personal for people. It's just businesses, making sure businesses are following all the alcohol rules, getting the alcohol where they need to, and stuff like that, man. So got a 1-year-old. He just turned 1, so that's my first child. So the last year has been, and I'm sure, as you know, it was a big adjustment for me for the last year. But I'm just chilling, man. I got the luxury of having the freedom to make my own schedule. So I set it up around my family, man. So I'm home a lot, which means a lot to me, and I'm just chilling, man. That's where I'm at right now.
Nice, good for you.
Appreciate it, man.
Good for you. Dust, I know you're over in the mill.
Yeah, I've been there.
Were you maintenance or are you electrician? What are you doing over there? You a crane operator yet?
No, but I'm in that department. So
Are you?
I'm in the truck department. It's like trucks and cranes. But I chose, my depth perception is garbage. So I kind of told my boss, I was like, can you keep me out of the cranes so I don't fuck anything up or hurt anybody? I don't. So I said I drive the truck there. So pretty much I just move coils where they need to go. It's easy. I really enjoy it. I like the people I work with. So it's a nice place. I've been there. I'll be 3 years in September. So it's
good for you.
Yeah, I'm good where I'm at. Finally, it took me till I was 25 to finally figure my shit out. But hey, we got it.
Hey, trust me. If you guys know my wife or ask my wife, I mean, I could turn the phone around and put her on right now, but she's sitting here trying to mess with me. It took me until I met her to get my shit together. So, like, I
think it's all three of us.
I used to get wild, have fun, and do a lot of crazy shit.
I'm the same way. I had a lot of shit going on, like mentally for a while, and Alexis finally pulled me out of that rut. Like I said, I met her when I knew her for a while, but like we never, I guess, met essentially until I was 20. I think end of the year 2019.
Okay.
So however old I was then, 4 years ago, so end of 24. So, cool. But yeah, she finally pulled me out of that rut, and we've been together since then, and married, and now we got a little girl on the way. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
congratulations.
Clearly,
I like it.
Yeah.
You'll be a good girl, Dad.
That's what everybody keeps telling me that, bro.
Yeah, he will be.
He'll be a good one. Just like Woody. Woody's gonna be a good one. Cause he got a girl, right?
He's got a little girl, yeah.
He got a little girl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got lucky. God did not want to give my wife a daughter.
Why do you say that?
They would not have a good relationship. My wife and my son have an amazing relationship, and then there's, I'm dad, and all he wants to do is beat up on dad and fight on dad, and that's fun. And I keep telling him, like, okay, wait till you get older. I'm going to smack the living shit. I'm going to smack your ass. I'm going to whoop your ass.
Right.
I'm using fists. I ain't using hands.
Right.
I tell him that all the time, and he just gives me one back. So it's fun. And being a parent was something else that literally made me grow up in an aspect of developing patience. Like, I wasn't a patient person. Even back when I coached you guys.
No.
It took a lot of patience to do that age group. Like,
especially,
you guys are just starting to, develop primary motor movements at that age. Like I had you guys 7 and 8 years old, so even watching mine now, like I've learned that I still need more patience.
Oh yeah.
I don't even coach any sports right now because like we had a terrible experience with t-ball, right?
Hmm.
Parenting, that shit don't come with direction.
Right.
So I thought I was going to be like a coach for t-ball a couple years ago, and he pretty much told me get off the field. I don't want you to be a coach.
Hmm.
And then he started falling in love with sports that I didn't play.
Right.
Like I was football, wrestling, and I did a little bit of track early on. I did baseball early on in life, but mostly football and wrestling when I got older. This dude is in, he's soccer, he's in basketball, he's in track, um, and those are the main three right now. That's about it. But he's excelling in those sports. So I don't want to be that dad ever. I always tell myself I don't want to be the dad that pulls him out of something,
Right.
Hmm.
especially when he's excelling in it. Like if you don't play football, everybody asks me that number one question: Your son gonna play football? I don't know.
It's up to
I
him.
don't. It's up to him. It's his call. If he
Right.
wants to continue with soccer the rest of his life, I will definitely coax him towards being a kicker. Let's
Hmm.
let's let's be
Right.
real.
Right.
Like
Right. Right. Absolutely.
On
I
some Mecca
will
McAfee
I
shit.
will make him one of the strongest kickers I could ever make, and make sure he's knocking down 20, 30 yard field goals when he's like 13, 14,
Right.
preparing
Right.
for.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
prepared for that call, but that's the way
Exactly.
that I would look at it.
Yeah.
That's
That'd be sweet.
everybody asks, that's one thing. Like everybody's gonna ask you. Any sports you played or anything you did, they're gonna ask you if you're gonna put your kid through it.
Hmm.
Let One thing that I've learned from a very, very, I want to say, staple mentor in my life. Not only Reno, but like this guy was. He's a go-to. He's a person I called when I failed a drug test at West Lib, and he's the person I've called for a lot of shit every time things went south for me. It was P-Row. And one thing he said he always had up in his room, he said, a man gets up and goes to work and a boy stays home in bed. You know,
Mm.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I've learned to live by that. And then the other one, the other quote that goes with it, or sticks with me, is that prepare the child for the path, not the path for the child. Like we're going in these directions with these generations where like people just laid a foundation for these young kids to pretty much do, receive, and get whatever it is the fuck whatever they want,
Hmm.
but not put a lick of sweat, blood, tears, effort,
Right.
opinion,
Right.
anything in it.
Right.
But they're just getting it handed to them.
Right.
That's just pretty much preparing the path for the child to walk down.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that as a parent. I want my kid to learn. I want him to fail. Yeah, and I want him being exposed to as much as I possibly can. If
Yeah.
he comes home and wants to do an instrument, all right, buddy, what do you want to do? You know what I mean? I don't want to be like, oh, you don't want to do that.
Right.
You don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
I want him to do it as much as I can possibly afford.
Right.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta go get a second job, I'll go get a second job for it.
Which instruments and shit expensive.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude,
Expensive.
instruments are expensive, but learning how to read music shows it's a high sign of intelligence.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
You
something
know
I
what I
always
mean?
wish I would have did. I wish I would have
Yeah.
learned how to play. I still want to learn. Tybo, we were at fucking Big Lots the other day after we went to eat. I wanted to buy this fucking keyboard
Keyboard, bro.
like so bad,
Yeah,
and I I don't want to do that. I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, right, as an adult, like right now, you always ask yourself, when am I gonna find the time for that?
Yep.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
I told the wife there's a woodworking shop. I got into construction, now at the age of 35, right? Changed the career, right at age 35. Went from being a strength and conditioning coach and a coach, football coach, to just dropping it all like it's hot and saying peace and going
Right.
into construction. And there was this woodworking shop downtown, and you know it's $50 a month, and you can use anything that they got down there. And they had literally any and every industrial machine woodworking wise I could possibly think of to use and be on and work with, but it was $50 a month. Where I'm getting at with that is, you want to learn something later on in life, you got to realize, like, all right, that shit ain't cheap.
Right.
Like you were saying about instruments. I mean, that fucking keyboard, you can start on obviously you can start on a keyboard, right? Like any keyboard, but you're going to end up developing the knowledge of what you're doing and be like, oh, that fucking thing is shitty as fuck.
Right. Exactly.
Like I even doing construction now, like I'm learning, like, I bought this tool and it's fucking terrible. I'm done with it. Like,
right.
I need to go to the next advancement of that tool, and it keeps getting more expensive every time. For example, like, we went to an epoxy flooring and countertop certification this past weekend. Daily construction. So I don't know if you guys know Jonathan and Justin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I work with Daily Construction, right? So we went to this certification, and obviously, you know how to frame, you learn how to frame, right? You learn how to, lay plywood down for a roof. You learn how to do, pitches for roofs and whatnot, stick build roofs, walls, whatever it be. And then you go and you realize, like, okay, I got all this nice equipment here that I use already, and you go get a new certification of something that the grinder alone was, we got a price list. The grinder alone, the floor grinder alone was like $8,000.
Wow.
So, like, you learn something new, and then you turn around, you got to drop, like, they had a starter kit. The second day we were there, they gave us a price list of a starter kit, and it topped off at like $13,000. I'm like,
Jesus.
All right, I'm paying you $500 to teach me something how to do that. I still need $12,000 to get the equipment to
do
start
that.
a business.
Yeah.
Right.
What the fuck?
Right.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, can't you, since I'm taking your class, isn't there, can't you get me like a contractor deal or, something?
Right.
But we talked about it. We're going to, rent equipment first, get some floors underneath our belt, and go from there.
Yeah.
It's a process, like, lot of shit goes into epoxy. When I first started construction with Daly and them guys, I did like an epoxy river table for myself because we don't have a dining room table right now, and it turned out okay. I mean, I learned a shit ton, but I dumped like $300-$500 into this table that I knew I was gonna fuck up.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, you want to try something new, go into it. Don't ever, from life advice to you both. If there's something you want to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Find the time and the way to teach yourself and do it. Don't hesitate, because I tell kids all the time, like in sports as a coach, like, you hesitated on this step. That's why you were a split second too late. Like, you hesitated before you hit this dude. That's why you became the nail and not the hammer.
Right.
Don't hesitate. Go.
Exactly.
You'll find a way to find the time to and find the money to do what you want to do.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You really want to do it. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got a question for you, man. So, you talked about it. The just getting into construction at 35. So, can you talk about, and as much as you're comfortable sharing, of course, but what led from that decision of teaching and / coaching to that construction move for you?
Yeah. So, teaching wise, it was down to the point where it's you don't have much as a teacher. You don't have much backing by an administration anymore.
Right.
It's a child's word against yours. And a lot of the times, I mean, it's sad to say, yes, there's shitty things that goes on with teachers all the time, but there's more good than there is bad.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have these kids sometimes in today's world that just turn around and got a vendetta against a teacher because a teacher wants them to be better, and they know that teacher can see the potential in that child, but they'll make some shit up, right?
Yeah.
Just to get the teacher fired.
Yeah.
I was over and done with the aspect of, you know, not being able to be a real person and give real life advice about what you're about to run into at the age of 18 after you're done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, coaching wise, it, coaching wise was that was a real hard decision, but you know, it doesn't coaching doesn't pay the bills unless you're in the NFL, unless you're Bill Belichick or Nick Saban. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Mm-hmm.
coaching is definitely it's a huge time investment, and it's time away from your family too as well. And
Yes.
then it's a balance. It's a life balance. I've always been told, and I told people as I went on in life, coaching is like pennies on the hour. You figure out pennies on the hour, you'll never get over 10 cents.
Mm.
Um, and then the, the same thing in return though is you miss the aspect of like being able to come back and share longer stories with guys like you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
I'm done sharing this. Being able to have anybody come back and be like, oh, thank you so much, like or something like that. That was my connection with the players that I've always had and everything that I've ever done. You know, was the hardest part to walk away from, but also the hardest part to accept was what people were telling me about the style and way that I coach. I
Okay.
was loud. I was boisterous. I was a perfectionist as a coach. I mean, it, I wanted to, as a coach, I wanted to practice at 100% speed all the time because that's how I want my athletes playing the game.
Exactly.
Other people didn't like that. Um, you know, if there was if somebody messed up, like that's another thing. Like even I've learned at Big Red, right? I knew what everybody was doing on the field at all times, all 11 guys, but I still played my position.
Mm-hmm.
Still played will linebacker, right?
Yeah.
But I knew what my weak side defensive end was doing, and I knew what my nose guard was doing. I knew what my Mike linebacker's responsibility was. I knew what our tackle's responsibility was, our three technique. I knew what our Leo's responsibility was. Both corners, Sam linebacker, both safeties. I struggled with that at places that I was coaching at and the demand that was not put on that. Once you know your responsibility, you need to learn everybody else's responsibility because you need to know where your gaps and your holes are at.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
You need to know where mess ups can happen.
Right.
Okay, this is uncovered. This gap's uncovered, so I have to, my read has to be different in slow step. Then I'm downhill once I see flow, right? So, you know, I I had that going against me a lot of the times. Um, I think sometimes my one of my strengths was I always liked to everything was a competition to me, dude. I will coach the living shit out of. I would take kids that never played the position that I coached to have them and turn them into a player. Like that was the type of coach I was. I wanted to turn them into the player. You know, the perfect example were the Echo kids. I think they
Oh
went
yeah.
from safety to linebackers one year, and they were phenomenal linebackers because they flew to the ball. Their natural movement to their body made them linebackers, but if they were just a tad bit thicker, I think they could have been something ferocious as linebackers, like
Right.
some big good D2 linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the Eccles work with me. Um, Devon.
Devin or
Devon.
Devin or yeah, okay.
I think it's Devon.
Vaughn.
Yeah. He's He's working at the guard shack right now, but that's just because they cut our hours back and they offered us. They pretty much told you if you want to take that bid on this job, you will get your bid back on the other job when we pick back up. So a lot of
Pick
people
back
took
up.
that because you get to sit in a guard shack for 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know, you're still
Yeah.
making good money.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
So
Mm-hmm.
they take a little bit of a pay cut. So like for him, for an example, he took a decent pay cut for that. So, but like I
Right.
said, you're still making good enough money to where you're still, you're good pretty much.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But yeah,
and I
coaching.
feel. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, my bad. I was gonna say, that was the hardest thing is walking away from the coaching side. Teaching was easy, and like I said, a lot of stuff is taken out of your hands that you can teach anymore. It's
Right.
just like you can't say things. You can't. You'd be called something different. You'd be called you know something that you don't even ever believe yourself to be.
Right.
So it just wasn't worth it anymore. And like I
right,
said, it didn't pay the bills. Like
Right.
right,
I got a family that I got to feed, and mouse I got to feed, and even my own taste that I got to feed. So I needed something that was. Then also, like I say it like this too, I needed something to contain my ADHD. Like I found out at like 22, I had ADHD and been on medicine since then. But I needed something to contain it because it was like a serious monster at times. Like I'd start like 8 different jobs, never finish one.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And people would get pissed. Like this is, there's a deadline to this.
Yeah.
I need this done. I need like breaking down film, things like that. Even just lesson plans. I was like, shit, it got real hard.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. All I was gonna say was, so out in my time in Indiana, I worked with. They called them, and I don't like the title, but at risk youth. So I worked in a detention center, and I worked in residential treatment facility, and it was a really dope job, man. For the simple fact that I learned a lot of shit from these young guns, man. That they had a lot more life experience than me at 11, 12 years old than I had at the time at 2021. You know what I'm saying? So like, and a lot of these kids, man, they yeah, it was through DCS setups, so like they got pulled from their homes, or it was from probation. They were they got in trouble and they made some wrong turns, but some of the stories, man, that I heard, some of these kids at like 11, 12, you going out or taking hard drugs and stuff, and going out and getting into a fight, and the gun gets pulled and somebody gets killed. You know what I'm saying? At 12 years old, I was playing GI Joes, playing video games. You know what I'm saying? So like you gotta have respect for the other side of it, but to share your point, like with the teaching side, you know, as I was never a guard. They took that title away, and I think for good reason. But I was a resident supervisor, and so it was my job to make sure kids were doing the right things at all times, following the rules at all times, and growing, once they got out of there to live successful lives on the way out. But at the end of the day, man, those kids, no matter how many guidelines or rules were set in place, those kids ran those facilities at the end of the day, because you can never do or have the freedom to check them in the way that you wanted to. And I got pulled because here's the deal. I don't care if you're 12. I'm going to talk to you like you're 25, because you want to act like you're 25, 30 years old. I think they're not going to understand it if I'm talking to them on a level that they're not at. And so
Yeah.
I got hemmed up in a lot of that kind of stuff, talking to them, crazy. But it's the only way I think they really understood it. But I'm sure school was, especially now, because I did that back in 17 and 18, and in the last 5 years, it's been a big crazy, social protection jump. So I definitely relate to that. I can understand that.
Yeah, it's way different in today's world. Way different.
You ain't lying, man.
Not kidding. Pretty much everything in the world right now is different than what it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. So,
hmm
but
It's different. It's different, and
yeah,
even to add to that, like there's times where you could joke around. You could joke. You could literally be saying a joke, and does not matter. Somebody in that room will or find out a way to
Mm-hmm.
take it the wrong way,
Yep.
and it make it back to the principal or superintendent or your hierarchy. and then your ass is on the line or you're in trouble for something like that.
Yep.
And then there, listen, there's times where adults are not they're not truthful either. They cannot literally look you in the eye and tell you the truth about what it is that bothers them that you do.
Right.
What I mean, that's the life we live in. That's the world we live in.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
You're not kidding, dude. It's crazy, and we
Be
have no
honest.
control over it. We got no control
Yeah.
over it. Got no control of
Be
what
honest.
anybody wants to do in the world.
Nope.
It's like
Right.
we're just three dudes that yeah, they're gonna look at us and say, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For
Right.
real. For real.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's like you could be the smartest dude in the world and know everything in the world that you want to know, but they're gonna look at you and be like, "Dude, you're from fucking Steubenville, Ohio." Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're just not gonna give a fuck about anything we have to say, regardless of if we're speaking complete facts and like, you know what? It's there's no point even trying to fight it. That's like I just let things happen now. I mean, if I can't control it, it's kind of like
Just gotta go
whatever.
with the flow.
I kind of got to go with it. I got to deal with it.
Listen, I'm learning from the old ones sometimes. Like sometimes it might just be better to be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you're a fucking pansy. Grow up.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes that needs to be said.
Right.
Like
Right.
And then you got people on the other side when you do say that, they're like, "Whoa,
Yeah, you can't talk to him like that.
mom, he called me a pansy." You know,
That's it. We're going right up to the school.
so and then you're done. You know, it's
Yeah.
I'll show him pansy.
Yeah.
right. Right.
Oh man. That's
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
can
that's
you do
another
about
thing.
it? You know?
Exactly. Another thing. It's like people bitch about like gas prices and shit. Kind of like the same topic. Like people get bitch about gas prices and they're like, "Oh, gas prices are so high." It's like, all right, what the fuck do you want me to do about it? I still got to go to work.
Right.
I still got to put gas in my truck. You know, it's like, don't matter. Are you gonna walk? You gonna pay a bus to come pick you up? You know what I mean? Like you still got to fill your fucking car up and go to work or go to school, do whatever you are that you're doing. You know, you still have to do that.
Right.
Remember, I mean, it still goes on, but I tell my thing on the national anthem. Okay, if I'm present at the game, I'm gonna take my hat off. I'm gonna stand up. Right. Listen, in high school, I never heard a national anthem before my sporting event of like playing football.
Hmm.
Like, never was on the field to listen to it. And if we were on the field to listen to it, either they were late or we were too early. And we were standing there, which, like, this is one thing that I love about Reno is like he didn't want that. He did not want that because that loss that would cause us to lose our focus. Right?
Right.
So like there were times where we would get to the top of the steps and they were just finishing the national anthem and we would take our helmets off real quick or just throw our hand on our chest like this. But I could probably count on one hand that maybe I was up there for it.
Right.
I would say I would maybe need one finger.
Yeah.
Like and that goes in context with the rage over standing and not standing for the national anthem and daily shit. Like, bro, I was sitting on my ass watching my defensive coordinator draw up the offense that we're sitting there about to watch during the national anthem at my high school football game. Leave it alone, dude. Let people be who they want to be. Let any human be who they want to be in that aspect.
Right.
Let it go.
Yep. I can get behind you on that.
What I think somebody told me one time, what about when you're sitting at home and you're watching the national anthem before the Super Bowl or national championship? You standing up and putting your hand on your chest, or are you standing up and taking your hat off like saluting? Are you going like this? No, I ain't doing that. I'm eating a bag of Doritos. I got some pepperoni, some salami, some cheese.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I'm sitting here gorging my face out, getting ready to watch a big game.
Exactly. Yeah, I do. I'll tell you what. I do love when celebrity like people come on and sing them, and they kill it. So like Chris Stapleton, dude, he fucking killed the national anthem in Super Bowl.
Dude, I love it. And I'm the type of person that I always look at who is going to be singing the national anthem and who is going to take the longest to sing it. Like I'll gamble the shit out of that
Which
all
I
day
saw.
long.
I saw someone do that on the Super Bowl. They
Yeah,
said the
yeah.
super the it was gonna be like 2 minutes
I think it's
fifty
like
six
over.
seconds or like 3:16 or something like that, and it was like a point off,
Hmm.
like point oh
Yeah,
one off or something like that. So they lost money. But
that's like Whitney Houston. I think me and my wife were looking at it the other day. We went back and watched the one that she did from 94, 94, 95. The national anthem. Was it 91? Okay, 91. 91 or not? Yeah. Now she's second guessing herself. All right.
it was in the 90s.
So it was in the 90s, and that one pretty sure was a good 3 minutes.
Wow.
Like
She was
that was
she was the one.
over.
She was always that singer that
Carried it
held those
out
runs
there.
for so
Oh
long.
yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
one of the
Yeah,
best vocalists ever. I think.
Yeah.
She was just yeah,
best female vocalist of her era, a hundred
easily,
percent.
Oh yeah.
easily,
Absolutely.
easily.
Well, boys, are we ready for the question of the day segment? D Money, do you feel like you asked this gentleman a lot of questions? You feel like you got?
I feel like we've had a good ass conversation.
I feel like
We've
I feel
kind
like
of
I could go for another 4 hours and listen
oh
to this man
easily.
talk. Though,
That's the
to be
thing. It's
honest with
like
you.
you could start on one topic and I'll keep going, and you
Yeah.
can bounce to
Yeah,
another one and I'll keep going, and I'll bounce like I could talk forever. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's been it, man. 100. Yeah, everything flows together. I had a blast on this.
sweet.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that, brother.
let's do the question and let's see what you found, Ty.
All right, so we got this for our question of the day segment. We're excited. It's the second installment of it. Look to let it keep growing. But the question of the day is: would you rather have the ability to change the past or have the ability to see into the future? And why?
Ooh, ooh.
Go ahead. If you got it, go
Have
ahead.
the ability to change the past or see into the future.
Yeah.
I guess I would like to see into the future. The past is the past. There ain't shit you can do about it. You know what I
Right.
mean? I don't want to change it because it made me who I am. So I want to be able to
Exactly.
see into the future. Maybe I like to be a person of readiness. So if there's like an obstacle coming up, I'd like to see that.
Have that
That's I'd
preparation
like
for
to
it.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to be prepared.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'll second that. I think I don't want to go back and relive my past at all. I'm good. I'm good on all that. Like he said, past is the past, and
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
right. I don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. So
always like to play devil's advocate and try to try to change people's opinion on it. But honestly, I think for this question, I think I'm gonna agree with you two gentlemen. I think the like he said it best. The past is the past. Even if you couldn't change it, I don't think I'd want to because I wouldn't be where I'm at in my life now with the life experience I've had with the path
exactly.
that I'm getting ready to go down in the future. Without the past. So
Exactly.
I would love to be able to see in the future. I'd love to see if I don't know, just certain aspects of my future, my life that I think I want answered to kind of see where that goes. But yeah, that'd be my reason and why too. So that's
Yeah.
dope, really dope take on it. But I think we are at the point of the episode that we always look forward to. Jeremy, are you participating in this with us?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Top five songs.
I love it,
Yeah.
brother. So
Yeah.
so we had, I think this has been the a closest contender series that we've had with two options being neck and neck and split up by like 3 or 4%. And this is the
I got
most.
it up right now. If you want me to
Tell us,
tell
man.
you.
Tell us what's the total votes first and foremost.
We had 30 votes.
I think that's the highest that we've had.
It
That's
was.
awesome. That's dope. We appreciate everybody taking the time to do that too.
Seriously, it's cool being able to bounce off of what people want us to talk about.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, favorite songs wins. So we're gonna give you guys our top 5 favorite songs, which won at 36%.
Dope.
Superheroes was at 33%, which I know Jeremy voted on that one.
No, I was kind of
Yeah.
hoping for that one to be honest.
Oh, dude,
Uh,
I was fired up for that one.
favorite cartoon characters at 11%, and then favorite video games at 20. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so favorite songs took it home, and that's what we're gonna give you.
All right.
And we also do, after we give our top 5, so we'll just go one at a time. So like we'll have Tyler start, and then we'll bounce to you, and then we'll come to me. And then after we go through a 5, if you got a like we kind of do like an honorable mention at the end, kind of like ones that or right on the brink, or ones that you think of as we're sitting here that you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how we do that. So if you want to throw a couple honorable mentions in there, I forgot to tell you that. That's my bad. I didn't think of it until I literally got in here and I was like, fuck. So, but
I got you.
okay.
Dope. So
All right.
I'll kick it off for this segment, man. So number 5 for me, and D, I gotta tell you, and Jeremy, I don't know if you follow him or know anything about him, but his name's Mike. He's my favorite artist, hands down. He's a former Duke baseball player. Right before his senior year, got hurt, had Tommy John surgery, and I know you probably know, if you're a baseball fan, know Marcus Stroman. Plays for the Cubs. That was his college roommate. They started rapping in their dorm room, in their closet of their dorm room, and dude made party music and has never signed to a label. Has been an independent artist and has just fucking kicked ass in the music scene and doing it all with his buddies and his crew, and just it's fun. It's dope to see. But most of my top 5 songs are going to be from him. But to kick it off, number 5 for me would be a song called "White Flag" by him.
See, that's what I mean. Like, you say songs, will be like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So number 5 for me would be "White Flag." Really dope song. Really hearing it for the first time, like, really just hit me right in the face, man. So it's a song that's always stuck with me. So that'd be my number 5.
It's like a slower song.
Yeah.
Kind of, but yeah, he went by before he switched. He was Mike Stud. I don't know if that helps you.
I got you. Nah.
And not a lot of people know who he is, but we've seen him 4 times.
Yeah, we've traveled across the country to see him. Yeah, it's been dope.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's dope, and he's one of those guys that you see him there and he remembers you. Like, I'm not shitting you. We saw him in Morgantown 2015, I think. There was like maybe 35 people there. And at the end of the concert, we were standing outside getting ready to get on the shuttle and go back to your apartment. And I happened to just look over, and I saw this dude leaning up against his trailer with his arms crossed. And I said, there ain't no fucking way. And I looked over, and I just go, hey, Mike. And he looks over at me and goes, what's up, man? And no shit, he just let us come up, was bullshitting with us. We took pictures with him. And then we saw him again, and we actually went to Atlantic City and saw him. And he remembered us and like bullshit with us every time he saw us. And he's one of them. Just, I think that shit's cool.
Down home earth kind of dude. Didn't let the fame, because the dude's earned over a mil, easily with his merchandising and songs. And shit.
Wow!
So
he does well for himself. So that's pretty
cool.
But
he's doing everything independent. That's huge.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. Good friends with a bunch of guys in the industry too. So, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's on the country scene right now. A lot of Nashville guys are messing with him right now. So
yeah, so it's pretty cool seeing that. You actually, did you see during COVID when what was his beer pong thing called?
Ball in a Cup.
Did you happen to see that? He
What
had
did he come
Kane
up with?
Brown was on it. There's a bunch
He
of
had huge names on there, and it
big
was an all
names on there.
virtual. It was an all virtual thing, beer pong tournament, and they had Kane Brown, they had MGK, they had the Nelk Boys, they had Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski. Like, they had dope.
Yeah.
Like, it's dope. Yeah.
And a lot of the athletes relate to him because he was an athlete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it's cool.
I think Gronk might lead everybody on drunk. Well, no, Jay Cutler. Drunkathlete.com.
Jay
Jay Cutler and Gronk on drunkathlete.com might be the top two best ever.
Really? Yeah, they do. Gronk's always gotten rowdy. Always.
That dude's wild.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Jeremy. Give us your number 5.
Let me see. I gotta open up my Spotify real quick. Will you open up Spotify for me, Neil? I put a list together right before I got a shower.
That's
so
dope. Yeah.
I literally did mine, right before we started the show. So I literally was in the bathroom on my phone, like, shit, I gotta find songs. But
okay. So my number 5 out of my top 5 is, so I like to be a music and moody person, right? So I listen to music depending on my mood.
Yeah.
If I'm having a sad day, this is always a go-to. It's number 5, and it's by Jamie Johnson, and it's called "The Lonesome Song."
Okay.
Jamie Johnson is, he's one of them dudes. Like, I'm pretty sure he's an independent artist now. He was one of them guys back in the day signed with a record label. Sings about signing with a record label. Sings about not being with a record label anymore. Like, he'll go to places like Pepsi Cola Roadhouse, like sit on a bar stool, and string on his acoustic right there. Um, Always been a huge Jamie Johnson fan.
Is he the one that sings In Color?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dope
All right.
song.
That's what I thought it was. But yeah, that song's good as fuck.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Listen when you get a chance. Listen to the Lonesome song. It's good. It's very good, and it's
those
not
are my kind
too,
of songs too. I like the slower.
Not too sad. Yeah, not too sad, but it's got some. It's got a good jingle to it. It's got some good rhyme and reason to it. Um, a lot of the times I like to think that he is 100% talking about his life.
Yeah.
Dope.
When he sings.
Yeah, that's dope. Makes you relate.
Yeah, which is cool. I like to being able to like sit there and kind of listen to a song and be like, damn. It's like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah. So for my top five, I tried not to go with the same artist. I tried to kind of because, like you said, I love Mike. He's my guy. So my number five is Rodman by Mike.
Okay.
Love that song. Another good song from him. I mean, he's got a lot of songs that he makes a lot of sports references in it, which I like hearing that. You can kind of relate to the way that he's just a vibe, I guess. It's just, and the last concert we went to was last April?
Yeah, in Pittsburgh.
And it was in Pittsburgh, and it was fucking dope. Like it probably, I've been to a bunch of concerts, and there's a bunch of concerts that I was like, holy shit, this is my favorite concert of all time. I'm not shitting you. That was probably the best one I've been to.
Yeah.
Just the people I was around. My wife was there,
Yeah, we had a big crowd. We had like what, 10, 15 people with us, bro?
Yeah,
like,
something like that.
It was, it was a good crowd. We loved it going. So.
Yeah, and we kind of put our wives on to him, so that made it even better because they were there with us. It was just kind of like that's like you bringing your wife to a concert that she's never been to before, and you kind of like put her on to the music, and then she starts enjoying it way more because she saw the person in live, live. Because you can tell sometimes people sound like shit live compared to in the studio,
right?
But like he sounds good as hell both ways. And there's a bunch of people that I've seen that sound good both ways, and I was like, wow, I was not expecting that. And I've seen concerts that I never thought I'd ever see. Because I wasn't a huge country guy for a long time. I didn't really care for it, whatever. And then Woody, of all people, started getting me to go into country concerts because Woody's big America guy, loves America, loves, which we do too, obviously, but you know how Woody is.
He's a blue collar.
Yeah, literally.
He's a blue collar specialist.
Oh, yeah.
And he started getting me going to all these country concerts. Then I was like, well, fuck, I want to at least know the song so I'm not just standing there like, you know what I mean? So then I start listening, and I'm like, damn, these songs are actually good, so. But yeah, my five is Rodman, which is by Mike.
Here we go. My number four, song special to me, especially having my little man come into my life in the last year. But Boy by Lee Brice, really dope song, really good message. So that'd be my number four for that reason.
I got you. I like it. My number four, I'm gonna have to, shout my wife out on this one because she's the one that introduced me to it. It's a very low hidden song by he is now dead by Eazy-E, and it's Give Me That Nut. You get a chance, listen to it while you're by yourself first, and then introduce it to your crowd or your wife or anybody you'd like.
Okay.
But we were both very big old school hip hop fans. Like Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, Snoop. We grew up in those eras. Like I remember watching the VMAs when Eminem had all of his lookalikes walk in. Like,
oh yeah,
and
I've seen that.
Saying, Hi,
I've
my
seen that.
name is like.
Yeah.
I remember watching that shit live on TV. Like it was wild. Like, so I grew up in that era. And those, that's you'll hear a lot of you might hear a few references out of that. that
I might
era
have to listen
today.
to that. You're making me want to listen to it now.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's a blast. Like it's a blast. I love it, and it's just like, I mean, it describes, just it describes everything about life. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Put it to you that way. Like I said, listen to it by yourself first, though,
I will. I'll definitely have to. All
and
right.
then pump it going down the road in your car with your windows down.
That's funny.
Oh yeah.
I'll definitely listen to it. I'll let you know what I think of it when I do listen to it too.
Absolutely.
But all right, so my number four, um, big fan of these guys. I think they put a lot of good music out. Obviously, I wasn't alive when this guy was, but Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
Oh yeah.
Love Bo Rap.
Absolutely.
And
I've yet to see that movie.
dude, good. I've seen it. Dude, I'm not shitting you. I've probably watched it
Oh yeah, you kind of
100
agree.
times.
Yeah.
I've watched it a ton of times. You know,
Okay. I'm gonna have
and
to
my wife
watch
is
it.
like, why do you watch that so much? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. There's something about like the biography movies, like when they remake
Mm-hmm.
movies. I like watching that, and they kind of turn me into fans. Like I obviously knew a bunch of Queen songs, but like seeing that movie, like really, you know, it made me enjoy it more. So, but but yeah, that's my number four.
That's dope. And I know you're a big Bo Rap fan, so
I like Freddie
I,
Mercury.
I,
I
I thought
thought he was
I honestly thought it'd be higher in the list. I really did, but
I
I'm
had it
sure
at
when I
five
hear top
first.
three,
Yeah,
When
so
you guys said top five, I was like,
oh,
oh,
it's so hard,
shit.
dude.
Like, this is,
yeah,
I mean, this is hard.
Yeah,
This is real hard.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And so the first time we did it, we didn't do any. I didn't do anything. We did, I think, what was it, top restaurants?
Top restaurants, yeah,
I had no idea, dude. I was just thinking of things that I was thinking of right now.
yeah,
And then, like,
Yeah.
looking back on it, I'm like, dude, why the hell did I put that there? Like, this
yeah.
one goes way higher. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So I'm sure after you do this, you'll be like, damn,
Ah, man, I should have had that one.
you listen to a song on your way to work or whatever. You're like, well, shit, I wish I would have put that there. You know what I mean? But
Right.
yeah, go ahead, Ty.
No, you're good, bro. My number three, my top three are going to be Mike's songs, just a heads up. But number three is going to be "Modest" by Mike, and an artist that he just recently signed to his label. His name's Skis. Really cool dude. We got the privilege of seeing him in his last concert in Pittsburgh, and dude is electric, man. Sang "Drops of Jupiter." It was,
Dude, it was sweet.
He's
It was
a
sweet.
good artist, but really cool song talking about some past life stuff into the present, and it's got a good vibe to it. So that'd be my number three.
I got you. My number three is from Cameron. It's Down and Out.
Hell yeah,
From the Purple Haze. Purple. I don't know if you guys remember mixtapes at all?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, all right. Like mixtapes were huge, like real huge, real popular. Like, so you got Cameron Purple Haze, and then you got Cameron Purple Haze Part Two, which is the mixtape. The mixtape is always the better one because it's not the edited. It's got the original verses in it, nothing
Right.
untampered. So I think Twist is in it. There's a few more I think, but that's definitely my third one there. Yeah, Kanye. Kanye's in it. I love Kanye. I mean,
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of people
Yeah.
hate that band and
No,
talk shit on him,
I
but
don't.
Kanye's not, man.
I'm a fan of him, dude. He's
oh
dope.
yeah,
Dude,
Yeah.
I used to go on DatPiff and download
yeah,
mixtapes all
yeah.
the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I would find ones that like you're like, I don't even know who this dude is, but let's listen to it. And then you'd be like, well,
Yeah.
damn, this dude goes hard. You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
but my number three, uh, like I said, keeping it different throughout the list. Dreams Money Can Buy by Drake.
Oh yeah.
I
like
love
it.
that song.
I like
Good
it.
ass song.
I remember riding a
Drake.
Crystal in that one.
Oh yeah, Crystal was my Chrysler 200 I had, but yeah,
Those are cars, I love it.
me and Tybo had some fun times in that car.
Yeah,
Yes.
we used to drive to Taco Bell at 2:30 in the morning and get food because he lived right down the road from my grandparents where I was living at the time. I
Oh,
texted him
okay.
like, "Yo, let's go get some T-Bell," and he was like,
That's
"All
what
right,
I was
bet."
trying to rap too. We was trying to make it out the Ville rapping with one another.
Right, right, dude. It
I
was
love
so
it.
fun. It was so
I
fun.
love it.
Yeah.
No,
Well, that's my number 3.
that's dope, bro. I love that. Number 2, staying on the mic train. Number 2 is your number. I think you said 5, Rodman. That'd be my number 2. It's just
So
a fucking vibe, Jeremy. I'm telling
So
you, bro.
good.
If you're gonna listen to just
I'm
one
gonna
song
have
and
to.
be
I
done,
mean,
bro, listen to Rodman by him because you're gonna catch it. You're gonna be like, yeah, this is dope.
You're gonna be sitting there like hitting one of these, and he opened with that in the last concert we went to,
Yeah,
and dude, it
it
was
lit the
sick.
place. It set the vibe
I
for the
got
night.
you. I'll have to add him to my. I got a playlist on Spotify. It's called Shitty Catchy Rap or Shitty New Rap.
Hell yeah,
And
hell yeah.
it's listen. I call it shitty just because listen. I love old school rap. I'm an old school
Right.
hip hop guy. So
Right.
like the legitimate like organic lyrics and shit like that. Like huge on it, right?
Well, let me tell
But
you, he's not a mumble rapper.
Yeah,
okay, good. There you
He's
go.
he's
All
not.
right,
he's
I'm
more
You can
pop.
understand everything he's saying.
Yeah,
if he
He's like a
doesn't
pop
mumble,
kind of rapper. Yeah.
right?
I promise,
Like
bro. You're gonna understand what he's saying.
yeah,
I hope you like him. I mean, that'd be sick.
yeah.
You
That'd be
put
dope.
someone
okay,
new on the music.
I probably will. I probably will. I'm definitely going to check him out now. I mean, you guys got him in both of your lists, so I mean, and Ty made a whole list on him, so I'm gonna
I
have
got
to check
to.
him out. Like, I'm
Hey,
gonna have
hey,
to check him
I'm a
out.
fangirl. I'm a fangirl around him. I
Yeah.
promise you. He's
I
so
like it.
dope though.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm gonna have to check him out for sure. Um, my second one is Air Forces by Jeezy.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's one of the originals from like back in '05, my high school days.
Yeah.
It makes any playlist I make, I put that's the first song on it. So um, just couldn't walk a mile off in my Air Forces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
that's my favorite lyric out of all of it. Like you couldn't walk a mile in my shoes, bro.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
You got
Um,
there's a lot of songs that like that'll pump are pump up songs that are rap songs. Like I can think of one right now. Put On, Jeezy and Kanye. Bro,
yeah,
Kanye's verse in that song
Oh
pumps me
yeah.
up every time I hear it.
Yeah.
And that beat, that bass drop right before Kanye starts and he hits you with that I put on and I'm like, bro, I'm like, come on. That shit was
yeah,
so hard.
Soul Survivor.
yeah.
Soul Survivor. Damn.
Oh,
Akon
so
and
yeah,
Jeezy.
Soul
Yeah.
Survivor, Akon, Jeezy. I mean, even when Jeezy and Wayne finally got together,
Mm.
they made some sick shit. And I can't remember the name of the songs, but like, I just looked on Spotify today and Jeezy got a new release out. Like,
Oh shit.
No kidding.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
It's cool
have to check it
whenever
out because I like this Church in the Streets wasn't bad at all. And then all the Thug Motivation 101, 102, 103. Those are because that's where Air Force is on Thug Motivation 101.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, that dropped my senior year. And that was one thing we pounded in the car. We bumped in the car every single day after practice, leaving the field house.
Yeah, Dreams Money Could Buy was actually when I was a sophomore. Every day after basketball practice, because Justin Cummings was a freshman, and I used to take him home all the time, and that's a song we listened to all the time. Just Take Care, that album from
That
Drake.
album will forever live.
That's probably my favorite album of his of all time. Like
Yeah.
I can listen to that from top to bottom and not skip a song.
Yeah.
And
I can respect it because I like Drake too. I
Yeah.
like Drake too. Drake got real big right when me and my wife got first started dating, and I think I was still drinking then because I'm 3 years sober right now. But I
That's
remember
dope,
getting
bro.
in the car one night when she picked me up. Appreciate it. She picked me up one time and I was like, "Oh, you gotta listen to this song," and it was 0 from 100.
oh
Or
my
no, I
god.
started at the bottom. Yeah, 0 started at the bottom. Now I'm here.
That's
And I was
funny.
drunk singing that, rapping that to her. It was funny.
Yeah. Number 2 for me. A lot of people don't like the dude, but I've always been a fan. I've been a fan of his, since he started. But Justin Bieber. I don't know how you feel about the Biebs, but I love Justin
Biebs.
Bieber. My song is Lifetime. Actually, that was me and my wife's first dance song at our wedding.
Okay.
Love that song. That was in his latest album released. I forget what the hell it's
Yeah.
called, but yeah,
What
I'm a
was
big Bieber fan. A lot of people.
what was your What was your walkout song at your
Uh,
wedding?
Congratulations by Quavo and Post Malone.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
yeah.
what about you, Ty?
My walkout song.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a walkout song, but D kind of touched on it. So I was gonna put my first dance song in my top five, and I talked to my wife on it. She's like, yeah, but like favorite songs are like song. It's a special place in our heart, but I don't think it'd be our top five favorite song. But it's in my honorable mentions. But
Yeah.
D's a sweetheart, so he's got to take care of his wife.
I'm a kiss
I got
ass.
you.
I gotta make her feel good all the
I
time.
like it.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I'm a big fan of his. You know, a lot of people, you know, said he was a piece of shit. You know, when he did the things that he did. But you got to think, man, what would you do with all that money at age 12? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'd be buying every toy possible.
Right, exactly. So, but
so
all right, Ty,
Yeah.
go ahead, buddy.
So my number one, obviously no surprise, Mike again. But this one just came out not too long ago. But it's called "I'm Sorry." It's a real dope song. It's talking about some past mistakes he's made and kind of having. It was something we touched on last episode, that spiritual growth, that personal growth, and so making some mistakes in the past but growing from it. So that'd be my number one.
I like it. My number one is, again, I give a shout out to my wife, but I still have this guy. This dude is. I share a birthday with this clown, and he's definitely what always been one of my favorite rappers. And then when we started dating and everything, she really like had me dive into the actual like history of the man. So, but it's Hail Mary from Tupac.
Hell yeah! Oh
I
yeah!
mean, I that's one of those like I don't care if I'm going to the gym, if I'm going to church, if anywhere I'm going, I'm throwing Hail Mary on because it gets me fired up to do everything.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
I'll put it on going to work, bro. Like it's just
yeah,
it's always it's number one.
yeah,
That's dope.
It gets me going. It drives the gears, flips a switch. You know what I mean?
yeah. Absolutely. Those guys are the ones that you can always put on, and you can always vibe to. Is just yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's like Mike to us. You could put a Mike song on, and we're gonna vibe to it.
I
Actually,
like it.
so the last song we had at my wedding was Rodman, and I was so fucked up. I think Ian had a video of me, like I'm in his face, like his camera's on me like this, and I'm trying to rap this song to him, and he showed me the video. I messed every fucking word up because I was so fucked up. Like
But
it
you
was
were having a
horrible.
fucking blast.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
dude, it was a good time. I had a lot of people tell me, I haven't been that fucked up in a long time, and I had a lot of people in my family that had to drive home. Like, I have family from like Columbus, Dresden area, and they told me they had to pull over and let people throw up on the way home because they were so messed up. So it's like when I know that, that's like, damn, everyone really did have a good time, and that was one of the main things I wanted was everybody to have a good time, and I
Yeah.
got like, you guys have both gotten married, so you guys know the vibes. You want all the people around. You got all the people around you there. You want to have a good time,
Oh
So
yeah.
that
Absolutely.
was that was sweet. But um, my number one, another guy that you know I've always enjoyed. He kind of blew up in probably 2019, but helped me through a lot of shit in my life. But it's Juice World.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know Juice. He's
Yeah. Rest in peace, right? Isn't
Yeah,
that
he
his
died.
name?
Dude,
Yeah.
it's gonna be fucking 4 years this year.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
crazy to me. But
I've heard a couple of his songs, and he can
yeah.
spit.
Yeah,
He can
dude.
spit.
He's probably one of the best freestyles I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like just being able to go in there and just boom. Like I've seen videos of like multiple producers, like Benny Blanco. Do you know who Benny Blanco is?
Mm-mm.
Um, he's produced a shit ton of songs.
Okay.
He's the goofy looking guy with the afro. He's the white guy with like
Okay.
an afro. But beside the point, good ass producer. Um, he told a story not that long ago to where he had Juice come in and do a song with him, and he would go into the booth. They'd put the beat on, and he'd rap a whole verse or like a whole song because he was just on it by himself. Peek out and say, "Is that good?" He was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "All right, do another one, completely different song." And he said, "All right, dude, just pick whatever one you like." like just off the top of his head. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's wild.
But
Yeah.
but
Because most
my
of the time,
what's that? You cut out there for a sec.
most of the time, anytime anybody walks in a booth, they got something ready. And if you can
Right.
walk in with nothing in
Just
your
go
hand,
right now. Yeah,
right up the top of your head,
it's
that's
crazy.
organic, man.
Yeah,
That's legit.
yeah.
That's dope.
But the song from him is "Flaws and Sins."
Good song.
Okay.
Yeah, if you haven't heard it, definitely listen to it.
I'll
It's
put Mike on my top 5, and then I'll put all yours on my top 5 also.
all right.
Oh yeah.
Bet.
I'll just turn it into the nice guys playlist.
There we
Sweet.
go. I
I
love
like that. I like that.
Hell yeah. Do you want to do honorable mentions? You want me to kick it off, and I'll just give my 3 real quick.
Yeah, we'll just give however many you got. We usually do 3. If you only got 1, 2, whatever. Just.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll just do all 3 at once and then go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Ty.
So honorable mentions. First one is gonna be "Dear Today" by Luke Combs. Really
You're
cool.
always singing that fucking song, so.
Oh, it's a song. It's a good song. It's dope. Number 2. So I'm following the suit of D Money here. So this was my first dance song with my wife. But it's in case you didn't know, originally a Brett Eldredge song, or Brett Young. Is it Brett Young? No, Brett Young. It's Brett Young.
Yeah, Brett Young.
But it's the Boyce Avenue cover.
Okay.
So it's that version's really dope. And then last song, another country song, but "Thought You Should Know" by Morgan Wallen. Really cool song.
Okay.
That is a good song.
So that'd be my
I
top
like
3.
it. I like it.
Appreciate that.
Boyce Avenue was the song, what was it, Teenage Dream, that me and my wife picked for our wedding song, right? So
Mhm.
I'll give that a special mention just because Ty did. They're pretty damn good. Next one would be our walkout song, my special mention, Pantera Walk. That's what we walked out to on our wedding day.
Hell yeah.
And then my third one, which it should be, it would be my first special mention, and I should be on my top 5 list. But like I said, it's so hard. Eminem
Yeah.
till I collapse. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you could get balconies falling off clubs when that comes on.
Hell
Like
yeah.
people will get fired up for anything and everything. Listen to that.
Yeah, absolutely. My 3. Number 3, I got "Cover Me Up," the Morgan Wallen cover when he performed that.
Mhm.
My number 2 is "Let Me Love You" by Mario.
Oh yeah, classic.
That's a banger. That's a banger.
Okay.
And my number 1 is "Don't Want to Miss a Thing" by Aerosmith.
Aerosmith.
Yeah.
That's
Nice. Good
me and my
call.
mom have a bond with that song, so that was kind of.
That's dope.
I like going a route where they're sentimental to me when we do these types of things.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, me and my mom, I used to sing that song to her. The movie Armageddon. That's where I got it from. I was little, and my mom was watching that movie, and then ever since then, I kind of just that's been me and her song together. That was our mother son dance at the wedding. Was that song?
Nice.
We had to cut it down because it's like a fucking 6-minute song,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
All right.
it was it's up there. That's
My wife met him when she was like 13.
oh no
The
shit.
whole band.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's awesome.
Got
That's
pictures
sweet.
and everything.
That's dope.
That's crazy. That's sick. Well, fellas, I had a hell of a time talking to you. Jeremy, it was an honor to have you on here, brother. It really was.
Absolutely.
It was dope to.
Absolutely, dude. It was an honor to be with you guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. We
Appreciate you coming
that.
on for real,
Yeah,
man.
Absolutely. Definitely gonna reach back out to you, man, because there's some questions that I know I want to ask in the future, and you know we love having people come back on. It ain't just a one and done. If you want to come back on, we're definitely gonna make it happen. So.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
Absolutely.
Hey, let me know when.
Absolutely, definitely will. And same thing we always say. We appreciate you guys taking the time to check us out. All the love that you're showing. We love seeing certain aspects of our little thing we're doing here grow. And you know, so if you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, just like Jeremy was today, reach out to D through the email. Just shoot us a message on Facebook through the Nice Guys Podcast page. You can check us out and comment on YouTube. However you want to get a hold of us, if you know us personally, shoot us a text. And love to have you on just to bullshit with you. And like we say every time, it's much love, and we wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. The cast would not would not work without the love and support that we've been shown. So it means a lot to us, and it's really dope to have dope people like Jeremy come on and share their story, and for the people that don't have the chance to have the mic, had the time to have the mic and share what they want to share. So it means a lot to us.
Exactly.
So, D, anything you want to add before we ride off into the sunset, brother?
No, I mean, you pretty much nailed it again, per usual.
I try. I try.
But yeah, pretty much just thanks for coming, man. We really do appreciate it. Just come on, bullshit. Any time, for real.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
we'll come on bullshit about something completely fucking different. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, we love it, man.
I love it.
We're happy.
New topics next time. New topics
Exactly.
next time.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Until next time, everybody. Take care. Much love and peace.